I mentioned a few videos back that I recently went through a 3-day immersive success event by one of who I consider the most successful people on the planet. And I said I would be giving you some of the most powerful lessons I learned from that event. Well, this is one of those videos. We are going over why you will never be fulfilled if you're doing this. It's called The Curse of the White Rabbit, and you really need to wrap your head around this, because if you are falling into this, you will never be happy for a sustained period of time, and you will never be fulfilled in your life. That's how important this is. So make sure you pay attention, make sure you lock in for this one, even take some notes for this one. That's coming up next. Hi guys, welcome to HeartSpace, where we are working to help you expand your awareness, consciousness, and of course be more of a space from your heart. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to this video, because we release videos on those topics every single day. My name is Dave, if I didn't mention that already. And like I said in the beginning, I want to go over an incredibly powerful lesson that if you are falling into this, if you are doing this behavior and not shifting into the behavior I'm going to give you, you're going to struggle through life. You're going to not be fulfilled. You're not going to really be able to live the life that you want to live. And it's actually a little bit not your fault, because this is the normal paradigm that we are sold ever since we were young kids. It's the way we were taught the world is, but the fact of the matter is it's not true. It's just what we were taught the world was like, and so we were conditioned to move in that way. So you see most people doing this when you could totally shift this, totally change, and totally choose something different, which I hope by the end of this you will decide to do. So the curse of the white rabbit, an example that Peter Sage gave in his event, is if you ever know dog racing, the way they get the dogs to race is they have a white rabbit that they chase. And he also asked, what happens to the white rabbit? Do the dogs ever catch it? They don't. And he compares this to how many of us are moving through life. Life has us convinced, or people have us convinced, or our conditioning has us convinced that we're chasing this thing and that we will not be fulfilled, we will not be successful, we will not be enough, we will not be loved until we have this thing, the so-called white rabbit. And we're chasing it and we're chasing it and we're told to buy this thing and that thing that's going to get us closer to getting this rabbit. And once we get this rabbit, we're going to feel fulfilled, we're going to be happy. You know, once you have those clothes, once you have those friends over there, once you're popular, once you have that car, that house, a family, once you have a kid, whatever it is, right? And it's not to say you can't be happy having some of those things, but when you're coming to it from this mentality, it is ultimately not going to fulfill you. You are always chasing something. And by the way, when you're chasing something, what does that thing have to do as a result? It has to run away from you. This is why if you ever look at dating videos or dating theory, one of the things they say, especially for men when it comes to women, is stop chasing them, because when you chase someone, and maybe women, you can attest to this, if someone chases you in like this very needy way, what is your first instinct? Ooh, get me out of here. What the hell is this? I don't want this person around me. It happens on both sides too. It happens with friendships too, if you feel someone being too needy, but they're chasing you. And the opposite of being chased, when you're being chased, when the word chase is implied, or when the word chase is used, it is implied that someone is running away. And we're conditioned to believe we should be chasing all these different things. Certain financial goals, certain career objectives, certain health objectives. And those are all great things to aspire to do and to work on, but not from this mindset, chasing the white rabbit. And the thing is, although the dogs usually don't, or I don't think ever catch the white rabbit in the actual races, if you do end up catching a white rabbit, so let's say, for example, you put all of your value in becoming a millionaire, and you're like, you know what, when I get that rabbit of being a millionaire, I will be fulfilled, I'll be happy, I just need to get to that point of being a millionaire, and then finally I will have made it, finally I can be happy, then I can work on my fulfillment, then I can do all that spiritual stuff and whatever that I said I would do, then I can listen to my heart. Once I make $1 million, guess what happens when they make $1 million? Temporary high, but you don't become fulfilled. In fact, you notice that things are more or less the same, you just maybe have nicer things. And what you also will notice is once you get that rabbit of $1 million or whatever you want to make it, another rabbit appears. And suddenly the $10 million rabbit appears, and you go, oh, that's why, because I wasn't going to be fulfilled catching the $1 million rabbit. I needed to catch the $10 million rabbit. Oh God, I'm such an idiot. I needed to catch this okay, time to chase that rabbit. Okay, all right, 5 years later, I made it to the, wait a second. No, it was the $100 million rabbit I needed. There he is, gonna chase him too. And eventually you get to the end of your life having chased rabbits. And even if you caught a few, you end up at the end of your life still feeling unfulfilled. Because the game you are playing, chasing the white rabbit, never ends. It just never ends. When you try and bring in fulfillment, as if you can't be fulfilled right now in this moment, as if you are not fulfillment, as if you are not abundant, as if you are not love or loved or worthy, you start to put importance in things outside of yourself. You start to chase things that honestly, you don't need to be happy. The whole idea that you need a ton of money to be happy is false. There are people who have very little, who are much happier than people who have hundreds of millions, if not billions. There are people who have disabilities, who are not able-bodied, that are more positive and more fulfilled than people who are incredibly healthy. The external reward, the external thing, the external just shiny object that you think you want, that white rabbit, whatever it represents to you, is not going to fulfill you. And most people don't believe this because they haven't received a white rabbit. They've never chased a white rabbit long enough to catch one before. They've never gotten to the point of making $1 million or becoming so incredibly healthy or having certain, a certain social life or whatever it is, to the point where they don't understand this because they're like, yeah, whatever you say, it's easy for you to say. They'll look at a millionaire and go, yeah, it's easy for you to say because you have the money. But why wouldn't you trust the experience of someone who's done it and tells you, I thought it would fulfill me and it didn't? Jim Carrey has a famous quote where he says, I wish everyone could become successful and achieve everything they've ever wanted to achieve in life so that they could see it is not the way to fulfillment. And that's not an exact quote, that's not, verbatim, but it's somewhere along those lines. That essentially, Jim Carrey is someone who has achieved more than most anyone else will achieve in life. He's been, one of the best actors, comedians, beloved by many. And despite all of that fame, that recognition, the things that people think they want in life, all of those white rabbits he's holding up in his trophy case going, look all these white rabbits I've caught, all this money, all this fame, all this attention, he still knows and he has experienced that it doesn't fulfill him. That it's not those things that make him happy or fulfill him. So what is it? It's something else. So now we know what the problem is. We're all chasing these rabbits. We're all chasing these things that, one, most of them cannot be caught. And if you do catch it, you just have another thing that appears and you start chasing that. Seems pretty tiring to me. But if that's not the solution, that old paradigm, that old model, then what is? So this is what you need to realize. The reason almost always across the board that you are chasing something is because you want the feeling you think that thing is going to give you. For example, a lot of people want a lot of money so that they can feel secure, so that they can feel financially free. So we're not necessarily chasing money. If something else would give us those things, we would be chasing that. It's not that we care so much about money. It's we care about the feelings that money will give us. And I'm not saying anything bad about money. I think you should have as much money as you want, be abundant, but don't do it from the place of chasing. If you are chasing a relationship, ask yourself, why am I chasing this relationship? What is it I think this relationship will make me feel that I am chasing? And for a lot of people, it'll be connection or love. So it's not the relationship they necessarily want. They want to be loved. They want to feel connection. And so they're chasing that through wanting a relationship. It's the same way that the person who's chasing a lot of money is looking for security or freedom. But that's not the way to achieve these things, because you do not achieve freedom. You do not gain freedom through money. You do not gain love through someone else. You gain all of that through yourself. One of the biggest lessons I learned during this event is that the outer world follows the inner. And if you put all of your importance on the outer world for your validation and for all these things you think you want, the emotions and feelings you want, without realizing that you can feel those things right now. If you focused, and this will be harder if you're not used to it, but if you focused on the energy of love and thinking of the things you do love, you would put yourself in an energy of love. The exact thing you were going for when chasing the relationship or something similar. If you would just pause for a moment and meditate on it and just bring up the feeling of freedom, the thing you're chasing when you're going after money, you could realize that you are that right now. You can feel that right now. You don't need something external to prove to yourself that you have freedom. And so an exercise you can do is write down all of the things you are chasing And be honest, like don't come and be like, I'm not chasing anything, blah, blah, blah. I still fall into it sometimes. I'm still chasing things. But be honest, and this is gonna give you some clarity, because once you write those things down, write down, what am I chasing right now? And then write on another column or on another page, what do I think those things will make me feel if I got them? So if I'm chasing money, like I want a certain amount of money, why? What is the feeling I'm associating with money that I think I will receive once I have enough money? For me, for example, the biggest one is freedom. Having the freedom to do things that I wouldn't normally be able to do. However, I don't need the money to feel free. For example, maybe if you want a relationship, again, it might be love or connection. But write down the things you are chasing. In fact, you can put them in the comments down below. That'll be a cool little exercise, unless it's private and you don't want to share it, that's fine too. But you can put it in the comments, put down, what am I chasing? And then under it, put down what feelings you think that thing will give you. And then my simple invitation for you is go for the feeling first. Don't wait until you get the thing to feel the feeling. Don't wait to feel love until you're in the relationship. Don't wait to feel freedom until you have the money. Don't wait to feel peace and serenity until you're in an environment that is more, is set up more for that. Don't wait, because you'll be waiting for a very long time, only to realize when you get to the point where you get the external thing you thought would give you the feeling, they're gonna be waiting a little bit longer, because it's not gonna give you that feeling for very long. So the lesson here, guys, is stop chasing the white rabbit. Focus on feeling the feeling first, and guess what? When you feel the feeling first, your outer world will follow. If you feel more free, money will follow. You feel more secure and free in yourself, guess what? The ideas, the actions, and everything else, the inspiration needed for that to also be physically happening will come to you. Guess what? If you are feeling love and connection with yourself already, the perfect relationship may just find you and come into your life. In fact, that's something that happened to me and Lily. You know, I, at the time when I met Lily, was not looking for a relationship. I wasn't chasing a relationship. I wasn't even looking for one. I was focusing on self-love, self-connection, self-improvement, and so was she. And as a result of neither of us chasing, we just came together in this magical way, in this very seamless and synchronistic way that is so beautiful. And I want you guys to be able to have that as well in whatever area. It's so beautiful when you allow this to happen. When you allow yourself to move instead of chasing things, to feel it first, to take the actions from that feeling, and then for your outer world to follow. Another way to think about this is, he gave us another analogy I just want to give you. Your financial bank account, if we're thinking about this for money, so your financial bank account, so the amount of money you have, follows your emotional bank account. The more you feel the feelings of freedom, love, gratitude, the more you fill up that bank account. Think of it as every time you feel that way, you're putting some more of that into your bank account, and it's growing. The bigger that becomes, the bigger your financial bank account becomes, not the other way around. All right, guys, so I hope that is helpful. Again, I just truly want you to be able to experience this in your life, because it can be incredibly magical. I've experienced it in many ways for myself, and I've also experienced the struggle of chasing the so-called white rabbit, because most of my life I spent doing that, and it led to a lot of tough times. It led to a lot of unnecessary struggle, depression, and other things that is honestly unnecessary. I did have to go through it to get to this point, but that's because I wasn't aware of this stuff that I'm giving you now. So please apply this. I really want to see this working in your life. I really want to hear that you're getting results because you're doing this, because you stopped chasing that bloody white rabbit that you know, that's just exhausting to do and also not going to fulfill you. I actually ran out of things to say there, so I'm going to end the video. I love you guys. Please, please, please apply this. It can make a huge difference in your life. And I'll see you in the next video.